I'm looking for my first book sale for the month of March, so if you could head over to Amazon.com and pick up one of the paperbacks or ebooks on the SJS Direct imprint in paperback or Kindle format, it would be greatly appreciated. And you can also find many of my books on Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, the iBookstore, and Google Play. Each book that you buy helps keep this channel on the air and allows me to continue providing you with great content. So if you could head over to Amazon.com or other online booksellers and pick up books on the SJS Direct imprint, it would make a major difference to growing this channel. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. I recently got a comment from an individual on my Superman reboot video that stated that the success of Black Panther had little to do with African Americans spending their money at that box office to make it the #1 movie of 2018. Now, this individual clearly does not understand the power of the black dollar or the impact that the black dollar has on the overall United States economy. Now, I want this individual and many of my viewers to think about the power of the black dollar, because when I think about all of these stores that come to the black community, it shows me that the black dollar has incredible power. I mean, why is it that your Hispanics bring their bodegas to black neighborhoods first? Why is it that Koreans bring their hair and nail salons to black neighborhoods first? Why is it that Indians open up their franchise restaurants in black neighborhoods? And why is it that Arabs open up their red and white chicken places and grocery stores in black neighborhoods? That's a critical question I want the viewers to think about, because that shows me the power of the black dollar and the impact that the black dollar has on all of these so-called minorities, that they would choose to go to the black neighborhood first instead of opening up these stores in white neighborhoods or opening up these stores in their own neighborhoods. The reason why they choose to go to a black neighborhood first is because they know that the black dollar has the highest value out of all of the dollars in these minority communities, and it is the easiest to access out of all of these communities. Now, your black people, we have over $3.3 trillion in spending power, in cash and credit, and the big problem with black people is we don't see the value of our own dollars, and we don't see the value that our own dollars have to building our own community, because here we are with $3.3 trillion in cash and credit spending power, but instead of us going out here to enrich ourselves, we go out here and enrich others, and they get to live a middle class lifestyle at our expense, while many of the brothers and sisters out here live in poverty because we don't understand the concept of group economics. Because many of these Hispanics who open bodegas in our neighborhoods, many of these Arabs who open up grocery stores in our neighborhoods, many of the Koreans who open up hair and nail salons and fruit stands, the Dominicans who open up barber shops, the Indians who open up McDonald's and Burger Kings, many of these people, they invest their money in our community, and these people go out here and they're able to send their kids to private schools, they're able to send their kids to top colleges, all on that black dollar that some people think has no value. These people are living nice middle class lifestyles where they get to go out here and buy homes in the suburbs, they get to drive nice luxury cars, and they get to live in very nice homes, in neighborhoods outside of your ghetto. But meanwhile, while you're sitting here living in a ghetto, they're taking 97% of your black dollars and they're enriching themselves at your expense. And this is something many black people really don't understand about the power of the black dollar. The power of the black dollar is significant because if we could go out here and enrich 4 to 5 minority groups, then if we invested that money in ourselves, how much wealthier could black people be? That's the critical question many black people need to start asking themselves, because all these other groups, they're sitting here making a nice middle class lifestyle at your expense while you're sitting out here living in a ghetto. And what's even more troubling is we've got black men who are standing outside of these stores at 6 a.m. begging for change while they're making hundreds of dollars at our expense. And many black people here, they're sitting there thinking, oh, this black dollar has no value. But why is it that all of these minority groups, once they go and pool their money together, the first place they go is the black community? That's a critical question I wanted to ask this viewer who dropped that comment, and many others who have this mindset. Why is it they come to the black community first looking to get their bread? They come here because they know that the black man and the black woman are the most economically miseducated, and because so many black people believe that the white man and the non-black man's ice is colder, they would rather spend their money with that white or non-black man because they think that that's an improvement as related to the quality of products and the quality of life overall. So your black person will sit there and they will spend their money with that Korean, that Arab, that Indian, that Hispanic, and that white person, and they will sit there and spend their money and flip their dollars over to those people, and those people will go out there, take their money out of the black community and enrich themselves at our expense. Meanwhile, a black business owner like myself, most people, they won't think about trying to support that black business owner with black dollars so that I can go out here and do things like hire black artists or go out here and hire other black talent. No, they don't want to do that because many black people, they are spellbound by the idea of the white man's ice being colder, and they're not thinking that if we keep flipping the dollars in the black community with black owned businesses, then what happens is those black businesses can then invest in the black community by doing things like hiring brothers and sisters in the community and hiring those brothers and sisters to do work and be able to invest in building up the black community by doing things like getting apartments, getting homes, and doing things like building a savings, allowing the black community to build wealth and enrich itself and build a stronger black community. Because if your mindset is messed up as related to economics, then you don't understand the power of your dollars and you don't know how to use your dollars towards investing in building a better black community. And again, that starts by you understanding the value of your black dollars. And when you understand the value of your black dollars, you understand it doesn't make sense to keep spending those dollars in large amounts with people who do not value you, like many of these Korean store owners who abuse black women, and many of these Arab stores which have stale food on the shelves. These people do not respect the black dollar, because I guarantee you, if these same individuals came into white neighborhoods, they would not be abusing white women. And if they came into white neighborhoods, I guarantee you there would not be a single piece of stale food on the shelves of their stores. and those people would get exceptional customer service because those white people will not shop with them. The same way when I saw in my neighborhood where I used to live, the Hispanics, when these Arab stores were trying to come into their neighborhood, the Hispanics practically created a wall and shut all of them out because the Hispanics refused to shop at the Arab grocery store because they understood the value of the brown dollar. And because they understood the value of the brown dollar, what they did was say, okay, he wants to open up a store here. We're not going to shop with him. We're only going to shop at our bodegas where the Hispanics, like the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Cubans, work. And we're doing that because we want to keep dollars flowing into Hispanic hands. And as a result, in that neighborhood in Morrisania, I saw 4 Arab-owned stores practically put out of business in 2 years. And they were put out of business because those Hispanic people understood the value of the brown dollar. And this was in a ghetto welfare neighborhood with Section 8 apartments. The Hispanic people there still understood the value of the brown dollar, but sadly, many black people don't understand the value of the black dollar, and that's why many black people still are struggling, and they don't, because they don't understand the value of the black dollar, and they don't understand the power of that black dollar, because all of these other minorities, they get rich at the expense of that black dollar, and they get rich at the expense of that black dollar because many black people do not have a good economic education to understand the power of that black dollar on black business and the power of that black dollar in the black community. Now, as somebody who understands the power of that black dollar, that's one of the reasons why when I go out here and I do get donations from Cash Apps and donations from PayPal and Patreon, I try to flip some of that money back to other brothers and sisters who are trying to help the community with their comic book projects or their fantasy projects, with their Kickstarters or their Indiegogos, because I understand that if I can flip that dollar to another brother or another sister, what that does is keep that dollar in the community, and it allows that creator to go out here and be able to hire other brothers and sisters or hire people to go and do services that will allow them to expand the audience for their product. So I understand the concept of group economics, and I understand the importance of keeping black dollars in the black community. So that's one of the reasons why I make supporting black products a priority, because I understand the importance of that black dollar, and I understand how powerful that black dollar is once it's in the hands of another brother or another sister out here, because that dollar is not just being something that's just to buy a product. That also allows that business owner to be able to invest in new products and services and be able to expand their business and their brand. Now, this guy, when he wrote his comment, said, oh, the success of Black Panther had very little to do with African Americans. But no, the success of Black Panther had everything to do with foundational black Americans, because it was foundational black Americans who went out to see this movie in force. Your Disney did not even expect this movie to do well in the beginning, but it was foundational black Americans who came out in force to give this movie that blockbuster opening. It was black teachers who took entire classes to this movie. It was black business owners who sent and paid for kids to go to this movie. And it was black adults who went out in force to go see this movie, to give this movie that $500 million that it got over the course of 2018 and made it the #1 movie of 2018. So many people don't see the power that that black dollar had on Black Panther, and they don't see the power that the black dollar has overall, because it is that black dollar that allows, again, many of these so-called minorities and even some of these lower class whites to live a middle class lifestyle, and without 97% of our dollars flowing into their businesses, many of these people would be living in poverty. And the only reason why they live well is because of these black folks who are miseducated on the value of the black dollar. But when you are educated on the value of the black dollar, you understand that your $3.3 trillion has a value. And if you were to stop spending your money the same way those Hispanics in Mauritania in my old neighborhood stopped spending their money with these Arab-owned stores, they would be out of business overnight. Imagine if all of these black folks out here decide, to not spend their money with these Koreans who abuse black women in stores where they get their hair weaves and their nails done. If they stop spending their money in these Chinese restaurants that the Chinese people own, if they stop spending their money in the red and white chicken places the Arabs own, if they stop spending their money in the Arab-owned stores that are in black neighborhoods, and they stop spending their money in the Hispanic bodegas and the white supermarkets, all of these people would go broke in less than 2 months, and there would be for rent signs throughout the entire black community on all of those businesses that came to the black community. And the reason why they came to the black community is all due to the mindset many black people have, which is the white man's ice is colder. That is the only reason why many of these businesses profit in our community, and that is because many of us have the mindset to believe these white products made by these not whites and non-blacks and sold by these whites and non-blacks are better than anything a brother or a sister would produce. That's the only reason why these people make all of this money at our expense, is because we don't value ourselves and we don't value our black dollars. And because we don't value ourselves the same way we see them, and we don't value our dollars because we don't value ourselves, what happens is they see our black dollars as having no value because they don't value us. They only value our dollars. But in order to get respect, you have to say, look, my dollar is just as valuable as I am, and if I can't get quality service for my dollar, then I'm not going to go into that business. That's something I came to a revelation back in my late teens and early 20s when there were stores like Dr. J's in the Bronx, and they would have these policies of bag checks and following you around. And I said, if they don't respect me, I'm not going to spend my dollar with these people. I could care less about these so-called fly sneakers. The disrespect I am receiving is that's giving me no reason to spend money with them. And when I started to get that mindset, I started to be mindful of who I spent my money with, because my intangibles of manhood, my dignity, my self-respect, and my self-worth were worth more than the merchandise in those stores. And that's why I stopped shopping in those stores in areas like Fordham Road and 3rd Avenue in the Bronx, because I understood that my respect was worth more than what was in those stores. And if more black people got that mindset, they would understand their value as people, they would understand the value of their dollars, and they would understand the value of 3.3 trillion in spending power, and how that 3.3 trillion in spending power of cash and credit could be used to enrich other black people and build a stronger black community, rather than having other people get rich at our expense and then continuing to disrespect us. Because when we start to see the value of the black dollar, we can understand how we can make instead of Disney making $500 million on Black Panther at our expense, we can go out here and make $500 million to $1 billion on our own movies and build our own entertainment empire, where we see positive images of black people presented in empowering ways instead of emasculating and degrading ways, and black people being presented in balanced and humanized ways, We have tremendous economic power in this country, and don't let anybody tell you that the black dollar doesn't have any value, because if the black dollar didn't have any value, why is everybody chasing the black dollar, and why is everybody running after the black dollar, and why are some people getting so upset about not being able to get the black dollar that, like the Asians now who are losing it, why is everybody so upset about the black dollar? Because they need that black dollar to survive, and without that black dollar, these same people would be in poverty and living in ghettos like the black people who they express all their contempt for, but smile all while they're counting our money. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction, like the ISIS series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can pick up those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers this April, Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door must take on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess in paperback and e-readers this April.